So, The Lion King is officially out. People have seen it beforehand in advanced screenings and things like that, but this is the official date of public release. I didn't imagine making this video, but I had some shower thoughts I thought I'd just get out there. And they were piqued by last week's critical reception to it. Last week on Jimmy Kimmel, Donald Glover appeared, and with him came a sneak peek of the last third of Hakuna Matata. And it brought out something that I didn't think that I would see, and it intrigued me to talk about it. This was one of these songs that ultimately represents Lion King as a whole. When people think of this song, it just symbolizes all of the good times they've had with it and everything that makes this movie good, despite it being kind of tonally dissonant from some of the more emotionally stunning parts of the film, right? But, it's a great song. Ever since the remake has been announced, the director and the people involved have done everything in their power to kind of stray away from that tone. And, that's in keeping with remakes, not surprising. And people were excited for it. They wanted to see their nostalgic property reborn in some way. And as much as people said it's not going to be as good, it's not going to live up to the original, people were still hyped. It didn't do anything to kill the hype. Everybody was on board with this. But I saw last week, after that clip had come out, people were angry. People were not impressed. They were not satisfied. They were disappointed and confused and worried. Because when they got the visual aspect to it, that clip that they showed was mainly just a shot of Timon, Pumbaa, Simba just walking and hopping while they sing the song during a long tracking shot as the camera pulls out. People were roasting it pretty hard, they were pretty mean, and people were saying a lot of the things that a lot of anti-remake people have been addressing for a while. They're not as good, they're more expensive to make, they disrespect the legacy of the originals, and it's really not what Disney needs to be doing right now. And that sentiment was not really, I don't feel like it was taken seriously up until this point, which is fascinating. Because people needed to see that stuff for themselves. And once they did, they took a step back and they said, I don't have confidence. Or, I am scared about this movie. Or, just, wow, that looks terrible. And this was something that was kind of parroted in the Rotten Tomatoes score, right? We all revere them and respect them, whatever. When the review scores came out, Lion King was sitting somewhere between 55 and 60%. But when I first saw the reviews, it was rotten. It's probably like 57% or something like that. And yeah, a lot of the same sentiments were echoed in what the critics said. Technically, visually, stunning, deserves high marks, high praise, but there's nothing there. There's no soul. There is nothing new for me to latch on to that made me think that they did it better than the original. Earlier this week, the movie was once again fresh. It was like at 60%. But when I'm looking at it now, morning of, it's back down to like 56. So I hear that typically review scores fall below after opening weekend, and if that's the case, then it's not good news. For a Disney remake that's kind of low, I know they vacillate, but you would expect them to do well. And I don't think this is going to have a dent financially. It's not going to make a difference. People are going to go see it. It's probably going to make a lot more money than the original Lion King did, which made a lot of money. But yeah, people will go see it. It doesn't make a difference, but it is something interesting that I saw. You see, when the remakes are being made, and when they're coming out in the future, right? I think it would probably be beneficial to remake stuff that were the movies that were already adaptations in their own right. Jungle Book and Cinderella are just Disney takes on classic adventures. And when Jungle Book and Cinderella came out, they were very well received critically and financially. And stuff like Lion King, totally original story that is considered one of the best of Disney canon, was panned. Not panned. It was not well received. People were very nice to it. I think that the critical summation of it for the critical summation of Aladdin is much less harsh than the one for Lion King, but I think generally people are pretty kind. If they have something nice to say, it's about the visuals. And if they have criticism, it's always about the story itself. It's not as good because it's the same story, but there's no magic to it. It's what they all say. That brings us back to, like, the real problem with the remakes, right? The remakes are supposed to be financially viable, but overall have little risk to them because they're based off of well-respected, well-beloved properties, and people will go see it whether out of a nostalgic bias or out of a genuine fascination as to its critical worth. The thing is that people see it and they expect that it is mostly the same. It's a remake, not a reimagining on the surface. You can take creative liberties with it, but if you alter anything radically beyond the visuals, it goes past just updating the story and more into ruining my childhood. So people get up in arms, and people don't really want to see all that stuff. People were ready to storm Disney when they found out that Be Prepared might not be in it, and based on how it came out, it might as well not be in the movie at all. But people wanted that reassurance that it'd be there. And because of that, a lot of the remakes are rather safe in terms of what they do with the story and what they decide to do with other aspects of it. Minimal changes. They might make some changes here and there and talk about them in interviews to give the illusion of some more originality, but overall, there's not much more to them. Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner will talk about, they'll pat themselves on the back for their amazing singing, but really, whew. Dissecting Hakuna Matata is just, that's a whole other shebang. But, I understand why people would want to see it. I understand why they would. I'm interested in kind of seeing it, but I don't want to support it. So I won't be seeing it in the theater. I won't be paying money to see it. I lean towards the side that says it spits all over the grave of everything that you've ever loved. I think that it's not what Disney needs to be doing right now. They need to make more original content. This doesn't count, really, and I feel like they're pouring like $250 million into this ultimately to have like a lukewarm take on the original, and it's not worth it. It's really not the most respectful way to treat the best 2D movie in the canon. It's a cornerstone of Disney culture, and a lot of that's being swept under the rug and altered without reason. A lot of people consider it a perfect story. There's no reason to remake it. You could say that about a lot of them, couldn't you? Just remember, if you wanted a real Disney remake, just go see the Broadway versions. I can't guarantee they'll be as good, but they are a lot more fun. I guarantee it. I don't expect all of you to come fly out to New York and come watch them. But, if you ever have the opportunity, you should go see them, because they are really the superior remakes, okay? So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. If you're gonna go see it, enjoy it. I hope you like it. If you don't, come sit in the loser circle. I'll see you in 5 minutes. People are gonna roast you all summer. Just be prepared. Be prepared. That's it.